paying it for the kids. Like, does anybody want to look at the colleges, what they cost, the credit card companies?
They usher them right onto the quad and just sell right to the kids.
It's interesting that they have gotten, what happens is scrutiny brings on change. So when people start noticing that Union Carbide is polluting the river, then they start writing articles, and then they start going after Union Carbide or whoever, whatever the subject is. There's a Harvey Weinstein version of this. Like someone starts writing articles, the next thing you know, he's in a courtroom. How does the college pass by the scrutineering process? Like, constantly.
It is predatory. Like like Gina said, there's just credit card companies everywhere. Like, hey, sign up, it's free.
I think the credit card companies have real strong lobbies.
I don't doubt it.
And I feel like they're up there just lobbying all the time.
The only people you hear talk about it would be like, say, John Oliver, or something like that. And then it kind of goes away.
Yeah. The credit card companies and the college are the two things that one of the two things that kind of make me think that a lot of politicians aren't very sincere when they're talking about bringing things down and reining things in.
Don't badmouth the sincerity of politicians.
It's like everything's Wall Street. It's like Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street. And then they go, we got to make college tuition free, and then we got to pay off the loans for that. It's like, well, why don't you just applying some of your same thoughts about Wall Street to the college campus? All right, Cesario is here, Chet Waterhouse.
And befuddled by the financial conversation.
Always brings it. It's I think financial I admit this freely, and I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but the reason molestation, pedophilia, and things like that with priests and at the Cub Scouts and whatever. The reason Sandusky and that kind of stuff, the reason that kind of stuff is able to sort of live is because people have a built-in sort of shame, and they don't know, and they don't want to talk about it, and the people who are victims don't want to talk about it, and Joe Pa doesn't want to talk about it either. Like the people that hear about it go, just do something else. Yeah. We have that same kind of wiring with like financial literacy. We have a real, like, I don't want to know, just pay it, or whatever the bill is, like out of sight, out of mind. It's uncomfortable. People don't want to say how much they make. They don't want to say how much they keep. They don't want to say what's going out, what's going in. There's a small group of people that really drill down on it, but the general default setting for most people is you don't sit at a table and have polite conversation about what you paid in taxes last year or how whatever. Yeah. And we have this, and they prey upon that. Right. They prey upon just whatever the bill is, just pay it every month and don't ask questions.
You get more credit card opportunities when you're poor, and you get a lower rate when you're rich.
Yes.
Indeed.
It's sad. It's kind of like junk food. It's like you're already overweight, you're poor, and we just keep offering it up to you at almost free.
Well, and just to go a little further with what you said about money, if you feel like you got scammed or financially taken advantage of, you really don't want to talk about it because you don't want to admit that you were fooled. Yeah. So these things do not come to light.
You and an 87-year-old lady got sucked into it.
Right. It's embarrassing. Yeah. My first credit card was the Bank of Hoven, and it was a secured credit card because I had no credit. I think I gave them $500, and they gave me like $300 worth of credit. And I went out and bought a mountain bike for $289.
That's why you got that.
It cost you $700 in the long run.
Because I didn't know what I was doing. I had no sense. I never had a discussion with any family member about money. The discussions were like, work sucks and then you die. So get used to it. Those are our conversations, my literacy conversation, financial literacy conversations with my dad. And then there was nothing at school. Mm-hmm. We just went through school. When it wasn't any discussion of that. And then we're just working.
And then there was zero investment acumen on the part of my parents. It was great. It was so funny and hilarious. It was money market. What are you kidding?
Oh, yeah.
They'll rip you off. Then they Pretty soon you're out of your house. And you go, it's a 1%. Right.
Yeah. Let me show you my 401k. Dad, that's a Sparklets bottle filled with nickels. There you go, boy.
Yeah.
Like
there's 401 pennies in there.
Jugs filled with change. What's like, this is our nest egg.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's a door in the paneling in the basement? That's where it all is.
Yeah, I know. Did anyone family invest in anything?
No, and in fact, there's another side to that coin of financial illiteracy in your 20s, which is, in my 20s, I knew enough to know I don't know about credit cards, I don't have interest rates, I'm ignorant about this whole stuff. I never had a credit card in my 20s when it would have been beneficial to build up my credit. You know, by the time I was 30 years old, it would have been nice to have some credit, but I had nothing.
Yeah.
I don't, considering whatever you're into, whatever direction you go off to in life. So you leave high school and you may go toward music or teaching or construction, or you may be a commercial airline pilot or a dentist. Like, everyone just goes a different direction. So there's not a real through line. You know, if you're a dental hygienist versus you drive a backhoe, that's not the same job. But there is one through line. It's all financial. You know, she gets paid $61,000 a year. You get $57,000 a year. You have deductions, and you're going to claim dependents and things like that. The one thing we could have taught everyone at the high school level before they just scattered to the wind was something financially.
Right. This should be math in high school. This stuff should consist of the program for math in high school. Make it so applicable to your life that you actually will pay attention to how you have to figure this crap out.
Instead of extended train rides. If Johnny took an 18-hour train ride.
From Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm from North Hollywood. I don't know where the train is. But anyway. Yeah, and it was like, and then Sally took a 14-hour train ride.
Yeah.
Like, well,
yeah, right.
Why don't we
Ohio?
just do it on? Yes, do it on credit card interest.
Yes,
Johnny had a credit card. He paid 18%. Sally had one that paid 24%.
Yeah,
they both owed $500. What would that be? Why not something that applied to something instead of produce?
Yeah,
like,
your life's you're going to have the life sucked out of you if you take this credit card.
Right.
That's at least the way it would translate to, like, super blue-collar kids.
My favorite.
I got it now.
I miss all the ancillary, like, Diners Club and Players Club.
Oh, yeah.
Telly Savalas for the Players Club was
the
like
best.
the best. I'd sit back. So there's a lot of these 70s commercials that don't exist anymore, but they seem bizarre. See, now if you're a loser, like, I'm trying to think, like, if I were 11 today and staying home from school, first off, I wouldn't just be watching TV commercials. I'd just be playing Fortnite or watching ESPN on my app or whatever it is. But I had to just sit home and watch these commercials. And the commercials would be like Telly Savalas for the Players Club.
Right.
And he'd be wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah.
He tied his bow tie, you know, he's walking in Vegas. And he'd be going in, and the maitre d' like, Mr. Savalas, ooh, Players Club, right this way.
Sure.
And he'd go, who loves you, baby? And I was like, he's drinking a martini. Like, I was like, what is this world where people are eating out at night in buildings with no windows, and there's a maitre d' and he knows him, and he flashes him with players. I want to hear Telly for the Players Club.
I love the excitement in Atlantic City and Las Vegas, and okay, I get VIP treatment. Now you too can get VIP treatment and big savings just by carrying the Players Club Go Card. You'll save money on rooms, on top-name entertainment, on food and beverages. Just join the club that's honored the world over. Atlantic City, Las Vegas, Reno, Tahoe, the Caribbean, all around the world. Hey, no strings attached to get the club's benefits. You listen to Telly? Call Players Club today.
I used to see commercials or even episodes of Love Boat where they'd like wheel food in on a cart to your suite or your, you know, they come into your hotel room. Like the notion of a plate with a cover over that was it wasn't a napkin that somebody threw on there,
netting for mosquitoes.
And it wasn't like
Silver.
Another plate that someone had capsized. It was official plate cover, right? This
Designed
way,
to
roll
cover
it in.
your plate,
right? The guy pop it off. And I hope this is to your liking. I was like, what is going on? Who are these people who are going to these players' clubs?
What is the magic of Telly Savalas? I mean, he goes against the grain of every person who should have any influence on you whatsoever, with the exception of the tough talk.
You're right.
You know, so when you're a kid, like you say, you're sitting on a couch at home at 11 years old, you're going, oh, that's how to be a man.
That's right.
I'll just talk tough constantly.
Also,
and shave my head, gain about 70 pounds. I'll be fine.
Do you remember what Telly's signature was?
Who loves you, baby?
It's a lollipop, right?
Yeah, it was the lollipop.
Well, before though, it was the...
Who loves you, baby?
The cigarillo or whatever it was.
Right.
Oh, really?
19-inch long brown
yeah,
cigarette.
but
Carolla
in
Show?
Kojak, he just had his thing.
Yeah.
And it just shows how starved for entertainment we were. Like, look at that guy. He's got a lollipop. Like, that somehow passed for entertainment.
What was the promise or the allure of the Players Club card? Like, you as a credit card, and it would get you perks in casinos?
Yeah. Essentially, it's probably completely been replaced by each casino.
It has their own
Players
card now.
Yeah.
Right. But also, it's like showing up at a restaurant with a gift certificate. Then I go right this way, high roller.
Yeah.
They see that Players Club.
You're going to be waiting until 11:45.
You're in the booth by the bathroom.
That's right.
I can't imagine that garnering any respect. And I think for the ladies, we're trying to figure out what dried up the vagine faster, the Ralph's Club card on the keychain, like for a guy,
that's right.
or finding out that you drove for Uber or Lyft.
With
But
the left
either
sticker
way,
on the
it is
car.
not a panty dropper, that Players Club.
No,
that means you're at
probably
discounts.
not. Maybe
Right.
back in his day, it might have been for about a year with the members-only jacket.
What was the
That had a
Diners
special
Club?
pocket for your Players Club.
Do you guys
card,
remember what the
incidentally.
Diners Club was?
That was just a credit card company.
It was just called Diners
Yeah, it was
Club?
just called Diners Club. I think it was supposed to be originally for restaurants. But how long did it take? How dedicated was American Express to not having any credit card debt? You had to pay your card. It used to be you had to pay your card off
Every month,
or they yanked the card.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That's a bad business model for them.
Well, and they held on to it till about probably 20 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I thought everybody knew that was the thing about American Express.
Yeah, you did not. They would not carry any credit. You
They
paid
got
off
stung
your
too
card
many times.
right away.
I had my Discover card, I think, was like my first card that
Yeah.
I didn't have to secure. Is the Bank of Hoven still around, Mexipana?
I don't even know what that is. Is that like a city on the West Bank? What is that? I don't even remember that.
It'd be like you driving a car here that was made in Czechoslovakia
sure.
that nobody heard of. Like, what are you driving, a Schnitzendorfer?
Yeah,
like, what?
It's got a grill on the side.
I'd pull that thing out. No one would know what the fuck I was talking. It runs. It's two-stroke. It's a two-stroke. I got to mix the oil in with the gas.
Two-stroke.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Bank of Hoven.
Wow, that's
secured.
impressive.
Could have been Hoban, maybe.
I
Hoban or
remember that
Hoban.
I
Early
actually
90s.
Like Brian, I had to. I paid cash literally for everything through my 30s. And then at one point, someone said, your next car, you shouldn't pay cash for it. You should, even though you could, pay credit for it, just because then you'll have some credit if and when you ever want to buy a house.
Think of
It's
the
the smartest thing anybody ever told.
Think of the airline points I lost in my entire 20s.
Oh,
man.
God.
Yeah.
For you, such a frequent flyer.
I'm
as
sure
well.
I'd be loaded on Republic
No, with
Airlines
the card,
right
you
now.
get points for the purchase.
I was that was always the dilemma with me when I wanted to upgrade from a piece of shit truck to a slightly less shitty truck. I could never. It was always cash. It was always the recycler newspaper, and it was always, how do I do this Rubik's Cube of selling my truck, thus getting the $1,400 cash to buy the new truck that's $1,800 because I got $400 saved. How do I work that intricate dance of selling my car before I buy the new one? And then how long can I go? I can't go a week without a truck. I got to work. So that's never
hard.
really worked that part out either. But I do miss all my
high school math class. That should be part of it.
I'm going to tell my kids, look, everything's automated and everything's cool and everything's great. You will never have all the crazy recycler encounters I've had. I mean, I have driven to Chatsworth and dealt with retired airline mechanics to buy their tool chest
Sure.
off of them. I showed up in Reseda to buy a motorcycle the same time the other guy showed up to buy the motorcycle in Reseda, and I told him I had cash on me, and I didn't have any cash on me. I've met guys in parking lots. I've had like Armenian guys take my truck to go, I have a friend who's a mechanic. He's going to put the stethoscope, see how the valves are. And it's like, oh, this engine has spun a bearing. This is no good. Like, I've had the whole grift go the other way
Sure.
on me. I've gotten into arguments with guys like out in the street with these. I had a lesbian swing by my apartment who worked for the post office, and we had to drive in my truck together to the post office so that the guy from the credit union could come out of the
Sure.
post office and inspect the truck in front of me and then kind of go,